Coach, first off, congratulations on the successful trip to Southeast Asia. We had one win and one loss, but overall, performance-wise, how do you sum up this trip?
Overall, performance-wise, I was very satisfied, considering the short preparation time we had. Only really 2 weeks in Kathmandu to prepare and a few days in Singapore. The way that the players took on the ideas and the concepts that we're trying to implement, to come out with the performances we did, especially against Singapore, extremely satisfying, extremely gratifying that from the commitment and the desire that the players showed across the training camp and once we arrived in Singapore and Malaysia. I'd heard a lot of things about what players in Nepal can and can't do, and for me, I was blown away by their willingness to learn, by their commitment to their profession, and they exceeded my expectations. So really, really pleased.
In specific, we looked better in that first match, your first ever match against Singapore. We got an early goal. Do you think that early goal set the tone for us to get our plan running throughout the match?
Yes, it was. I heard the commentator say it was against the run of play, but I think we held the ball up very well. We moved the ball well, all the things that we tried to do. And I think Singapore, if they're honest, they underestimated what we could do. And to score so early sometimes can be a blessing or a curse. Sometimes you can then think, well, we can just sit back and defend, but it's a long time to defend against a team like Singapore. So I emphasise to the players that we have to keep attacking, we have to keep playing forward, we have to look for the second goal, because once you score early, and then if they have got a goal in the 80th or 85th minute, then you'd feel that the tide would turn in Singapore's favour. So yeah, excellent performance. The result was fantastic. It gave the players a lot of confidence. I think what you saw also was the level of fitness and conditioning that we need to improve to be able to then repeat that performance 3 or 4 days later. So I think you could see the energy levels. We tried very hard to get them back to 100%, but maybe we came into that Malaysia game with still a little bit fatigue in the legs from the Singapore match. And that's something now for the next games and SAF championships, that we work on a top level of fitness, that we can recover quickly and maintain these high intensity games across a tournament.
We saw multiple debuts in that first game, especially Suman, who started in his first ever call-up, which was surprising for a lot of us because he was not in the preliminary squad that you announced. How did you find him in the match? Because we played 60 minutes in the first match. How did you find him overall? For a player that 2 or 3 weeks ago was not on anybody's radar, we saw him play KP Oli at the Anfa complex, and straight away we identified his physical presence, his ability to read the game, his speed, his composure with the ball, and just his general demeanour and desire to improve and to work hard. So for us, it wasn't. Well, for me, it wasn't a gamble to call him into the squad, and he performed like a player that had 30 or 40 caps. It was so self-assured, and really, for me, it shows that there's talent out there in Nepal that maybe people have not identified correctly, or that they just need encouragement, belief, good coaching, and that we have international footballers within our ranks here. But Suman was, for me, I wasn't surprised by the performance in Singapore, the way that he trained. I knew that he will give a good, consistent 7, 8 or 9 out of 10 performance, which he did. About Subas, he came in late in the second half. He's playing. He's in the United camp now as well. How do you see him? I bet that's an investment for the future.
Well, it's also about now. He's ready now, which is why I put him in against Singapore, because he outperformed other players in the training squad, and he deserved his place in the 23, and he deserved his a substitution to come in and make his international debut, based on his performance in training, based on his, again, we've given him opportunities to learn and ask questions, and he's very much a mature player for such a young person. He knows where he wants to go in his career. We support that 100%. And again, he performed not like a 16-year-old. And yes, he's one for the future, but he's also one for the present. So I don't want to give pressure to him, because I think it's important that we don't overload him and the other young players with too much pressure. We let them develop, we let them grow, we support them, but we don't expect them to be doing things beyond their experience, beyond their years. But he's definitely a talent for now and for the future.
Now, against the game against Malaysia, we knew what to expect from them, and we knew it was going to be tough, not just with the quality, but the environment, the temperature that there was. How do you think we stood in that game?
It was clear in the first few minutes, and even from the warm-up, watching the warm-up, I could see the physical presence of their naturalized players and their heritage players. It's not a normal Malaysian team, and it was interesting that the feeling over in Malaysia with their own team was that they have trouble identifying with the team. That's why there was less than 8,000 people in a beautiful stadium in an AFC Cup qualifying match, because they've recruited some excellent players and naturalised them. On the pitch, they technically superior, and the speed of play you could see. They move the ball much quicker than anything that our boys have experienced. So while the result wasn't what we wanted, we learnt a lot. We learnt a lot about how we need to be mentally more alert, quicker to recover into defensive positions, quicker to react to set pieces, quicker to deal with the speed of play. So all of these things help us a lot going forward. So in the short term, it was disappointing that we didn't get a result, but we learnt so much about ourselves and about what we need to be, the levels we need to get to for the future.
But if you look back at the match, they dominated the play, no doubt. But
yes,
the goals that came, I think they could have been avoided. The first one, and the second one was offside. So how do you see the goals in specific? Because it was 2-0 and both the goals could have been avoided.
Definitely. So I see the two that they scored, you could say unnecessary goals. But if we look objectively, we could say they had other better chances that we defended well against, or that they just missed the target. So on the balance, I would say 2-0 was a fair result. The way they got the two goals, you could argue we could have avoided, but they could quite easily have scored other goals in other ways. And for me, it was also important to keep the result respectable. I think the work that we'd done in the camp and the result against Singapore, it was important that even to keep the result at 2-0 will give us confidence going forward. If we'd have let that, or if, for example, if I'd have opened up the game and tried to chase and score one or two more, my feeling was that Malaysia would have quite easily picked us apart and scored 3, 4, 5, and that would have been damaging for us for the next qualifier.
We saw a few new faces in the team, despite you spending less than 2 halves with the team. But you've been around for a long time, even before your official announcement. We saw you watching the matches. It was the tournaments were pretty small, but now that we have NSL coming up, Nepal Super League, how important is that tournament going to be for you selection-wise, looking at the players?
Very important. I think there'll be a lot of foreign imports that will raise the level of the league and test our players in different ways. That, for example, a foreign striker with a different physical makeup is different to a Nepali striker. So it'd be interesting to see how our defenders cope, and vice versa with different kind of defenders and midfielders. So we'll be watching those games very closely. And for me, the big shame is that it's not a longer season, that we can see players over a longer period of time, and also give players opportunity recover between matches and train meaningfully between matches. So, but yeah, the NSL, it should be exciting. I've heard good things about the previous editions in the last 2 years, so I'm excited to get along to the games and see how the players perform.
So apart from one team, almost all have recruited foreign goalkeepers. One position that has not been tested because we don't have many goalkeepers coming up. We complain that we don't have goalkeeper getting tested. Is that an area of concern for you because we'll have only one Nepalese goalkeeper playing, and is that a concern for national team selection?
It is a concern. I was really impressed with the goalkeepers that we called into camp. Of course, Kieran is the clear number one, but next with Deep, Bishal, Anjal, these guys are all knocking on the door to be the next number one and pushing Kieran to new heights. So yes, it is a bit of a shame that the clubs see the need to go with a foreign goalkeeper, but I believe our goalkeeping ranks are quite strong, and this is always a concern for an international coach that the goalkeepers, that you have a very strong spine, and that starts with the goalkeeper. But I'm confident that with Kieran and the other, there's 4 or 5 that have really impressed me. So I would have liked to have seen them play NSL, but yeah, it's out of my hands, unfortunately.
Adding to this, Kieran has not been signed by any teams in NSL. He played the first 2 seasons despite being recruited with foreign clubs, but he's without the club and he's not playing the NSL as well. And there are some few other players from the current national team that are not signed. Does this concern you because the best in our national team are not playing in the home league?
Well, over the course of the camp and even from this morning, my assistant and I are working very hard with our network of agents across the world to get our players playing abroad. And in the next few days and weeks, I think we'll hear some very positive news with some of our younger talents, and also some of the players like Kieran will be making moves overseas. And I see the future of our top players lying overseas. They're starting to realise and starting to come to the coaching staff and saying, I would like to move. I want to be in a top environment. I want to learn. I want to develop. And we are here, yes, to coach the national team, but also to provide the players with the best opportunities to develop themselves, which helps the national team when they do come back. So for players like Kieran, I think there'll be news coming about where he will be in the very near future. And we're hoping with younger players like Subas, like Ayush Galan, like even slightly older players, Mani Lama, Manish Dangi, these guys will be... Clubs overseas are now starting to realise Nepali talent. The players are now starting to realise they have value outside of Nepal. I know some have tried to break into the Indian leagues with varying degrees of success. But we're trying to show them that there's a big world outside of Nepal and India, and even where we played in Malaysia. There's clubs there that are interested in our players. So it's exciting times, both collectively for the team and also for the individuals.
Coming back to our team, the B Division League is going on, and we have had various players who have made it to the preliminary squad previously, and the under-19 players are currently playing in the B Division League. Have you watched any match, or do you feel that players from that league could be in contention for the senior team?
I haven't watched any yet. Obviously, when it started, we were in camp, so we were training morning and afternoon. But from today, I'll be watching B Division. I'll be watching NSL. It's difficult for me to say, having not seen any matches, what level the B Division is, but the one thing I am sure of is that there's national team quality players playing in tournaments around the country, playing in B Division, that have the ability and the potential to play for Nepal. So it's our job to get out there and watch them, scout them very carefully, and bring in players and say to everybody that the door is open. And you see cases like Suman. The door was open, he came in, he put his foot in the door and said, I want to stay, and he's now part of the national team. So there'll be other stories like that, I'm quite sure.
So can we say for some players who've not been part of the national team setup for a long time, is the door open for them as well, barring the age? If they can perform, can they make a comeback into the team?
Absolutely. I've reached out to Bimal, Kati Maga, and opened the door for him, and I've done that with other players. So it's not my place to close the door on anybody. So the door is open for, and again, there's a lot of good quality players in Australia. So we're in talks with a lot of those players at the moment. We're trying to find them either professional clubs or semi-professional clubs where they can be performing at a level that makes them match ready for the national team. So even the feeling within the last squad was that there's now huge competition for places. The starting 11 and the next 11 was almost interchangeable. So I could make substitutes and the quality of the team didn't drop. And if we can increase that by looking at players that previously played for the national team and now in Australia, we're looking at ways to bring them back. There's players in the UK, Iceland, Hong Kong, that are now contacting me. Coach, I've seen what you've done with the national team. I want to come back. I want to play. So, like I say, very exciting. Lots of work to do, but the end product will be that we have a very competitive team where the competition for places is immense. And like I've said to the team, if you're good enough, you'll play. So I've said before, social media, I don't have. I don't read it. I don't know. YouTube comments, I don't see. I don't read. It's only the quality of the player, the desire to improve and learn and give everything for the country. That's all that I'm worried about. So, yeah, door is open for everybody. You have to work hard to get in the door, but then you have to work even harder to stay. So that's a message to all the Nepalis around the world and within Nepal.
As coming to just that, in recent years in South Asian countries, especially Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, they've started to bring in naturalized players, which we can't do because of our national law. Do you think that's a disadvantage because we have a lot of talents, like you said, playing in the UK, Hong Kong and abroad? We can bring them in. Is that a big disadvantage?
It is, and it's something, again, that we've only been back for one day, but I'm in the process of arranging meetings with politicians, with ministers, to try to rectify this situation. That we need the people in governance to see what's happening in world football and to give Nepal the chance to compete. If we are to remain closed to these kind of opportunities, then we put ourselves at a huge disadvantage. And like I said, the number of messages I'm getting on a daily basis from players around the world, we can take our team from, now we're at 175, but I truly believe we can be 30, 40, 50 places higher with the talent that we have. If we develop the talent within the nation and allow those outside to represent their country, we really have to look seriously at this. And again, I'm new to the country, I'm new to the politics, I'm new to the system, but I think it's crucial that we have these discussions and that we're doing it for the good of the Nepali people. The passion for football everybody has that I speak to. Then let's all work together to give the country the best football team they can possibly have.
Now let's talk about the team inside the team, your backroom team. You brought in technical analyst with you, and you're working with Nepalese coaches. How happy have you been with the setup you have, or are you planning to bring someone in that you from abroad that you can work even better with?
I was a key part of my staff was to bring Lindsay Henderson, my technical analyst, into the team as someone that I trust, as someone with a great football knowledge, as someone who's an excellent worker, conscientious and dedicated, and will go over and above what's needed to make things happen. And as for the Nepali staff, we worked together very well. It was important that we had a lot of meetings before the camp started to speak about, we have to show that we're a team. We need good cooperation. We need good teamwork. That the players also feel that the coaches are one voice. They're on one page, which we did. It was a good camp on that perspective. I think moving forward, we need foreign expertise that can come in and help in key areas. For example, sports science, for example, nutrition, for example, fitness and conditioning, analysis. There's so many areas where we're a long way behind the other nations in and around our ranking. You could see the Malaysian team with a team of analysts and rows of iPads and nutritionists and supplements and all these things, and we're a long way behind in that respect. So Lindsay and I are working overtime to do the work of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. So these will be discussions that we need to have in the next few days and weeks to give the players the best opportunity, the best environment to perform at the highest level.
Finally, everyone has their eyes set on SAF Championship, the World Cup of South Asia that we call, and we've been only able to get to one final. Do you think we can reach one better come June in Sri Lanka? That's been rumored around. Does the team have that capability? And considering the opponents that we have are going even better?
We have a massive chance. We have a massive opportunity. Again, we don't have much time. So from today, I'm working on the preparations for SAF. From where we stay, where we train, what we eat, how we sleep, how we travel, the players we can bring in. All of these things need to be ideal, which means we need to start planning now. And then we give the players the best opportunity to give their maximum. And if they're given that opportunity, there's no reason why we can't win SAF. It's a huge task, and it's a short tournament in the sense that you need a lot of things to go your way, and you need a bit of luck always in a tournament. But I'm a firm believer in you make your own luck through preparation, through planning, through working hard, and then things start to fall your way. So, yeah, and I know in this area of the world, we need to be working harder and more efficiently than our competitors. So we need to be now working from today and tomorrow, thinking about how and when and why we're doing certain things with the goal to win the SAF Championship.
The last one, I'm not sure if you had time to watch the NSL squads, but who do you think has the better chance of winning the title, looking at the Nepalese players that you worked with?
Quite honestly, I haven't looked. I don't know. I just saw the poster yesterday with all of the boys with their shirts on and their makeup on. They look wonderful. Honestly, I was so occupied with our training camp, and I honestly haven't had time to see the NSL. That's why I'm so curious to get out from, was it the 29th? Tomorrow. Starts tomorrow. So I'll be at the stadium tomorrow, and I can't wait to see the NSL.
One last message to the Nepalese fans. I'm sure you hadn't had the experience to play it in such a stadium, but the response online has been very exciting. The fans are very happy to see fresh start. Any message for the fans, and how much do you look forward to seeing them at the stadium?
For the NSL?
For the national team and the fans in general.
The fans in general. The fans, they're some of the best fans in the world, quite honestly. Our big dream is to play a match in front of those fans in an Asian Cup qualifier. We had to give up the Malaysia game, so we hope that the necessary work gets done, that we can play in front of our fans. The passion and the energy they bring is truly unbelievable. Even the fans we had in Singapore and Malaysia, we drowned out the home team at moments in the games. So I get goosebumps thinking about what it would be like to play at home in front of that stadium, in front of our fans, and to give them a performance or performances that they've probably been waiting for and they deserve for a long time. So it's exciting for us to dream about that, and we look forward to seeing the fans one day for a big game and a big sellout, and we can give them really something to cheer about.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.